Alrighty, starting the meeting at 12:17. You want me to do roll call?
They look like just markers, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do roll call. We don't have a list of everyone.
Let us do it.
No. I'll just write it down. So me, Perla, present. Brittany Bima, here. Derek, here. Julia,
Here.
Karen,
Here.
and then Lori is absent and Leticia
Actually, I have the list here.
is absent. And then Dr. Chacon.
I'm here.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
I have my original notes.
Dr.
on
Chacon.
this.
I mean, that's all I did was I took
Yeah.
what was out of here, what
Yeah.
looked like the latest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Jess,
Because there's nothing more frustrating than spending time
Cristo
editing
Montiel.
something and then just have it drop.
Oh, boy,
all right.
you know that.
You live in Tri-Cities or you live in Spokane?
I live in the Tri-Cities with my license
So you're going back and forth.
a lot.
Does she have her career up there or?
Her business started, to take off right when I got my job with Clinton County, so.
What's your business?
She does, postoperative massage, pain management, various
Wow.
other, it's highly advanced, it's not just standard.
Yeah.
She's working right now to get into a new space, bring on additional providers so that then she can start doing stuff down the Tri-Cities. I'm assuming she hasn't called you yet.
Jim,
Yeah.
television.
Wow.
And-
She's weird that way. It could take a while.
Everybody.
She has her mind,
Yeah.
she has in her mind how things have to go and
Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
need to talk to someone who's been where you are. Like I said,
Oh,
you're about 5 years ahead of her. So,
Wow.
anywho,
Yeah, no, it's all about, if you wanna do something, talk to someone that's done it.
Yeah.
And collaborating with those people, cause most times those people, they don't mind one bit sharing, and nothing's a secret.
Yeah.
That's all it is just dedication and time into it.
Yeah.
Secret.
finding the space that's.
Yes,
Yes.
oh,
I wanna buy a space, I wanna lease a space, get a space.
Get a
you
space.
just got, yes,
Yeah.
just start talking, exactly.
Right.
All right, moving on to active agenda. Item A is review and update as needed the goals and vision work for the CED commission. Has everybody got a copy of that?
You guys done already a lot of work. My understanding, and I could be completely wrong, is that you guys are pretty close to being happy with what you had, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, frankly, I'm not a big fan of analysis.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
Analysis paralysis, man. There's
Yeah.
not a lot done.
Yeah.
Come up with a lot of things, but nothing happens. So. I don't know the last time you guys as a body or a group looked at this, so.
I remember this exact paper, I
Mhm.
remember this.
Well, that guy just took it
Yes.
directly out of the
Perfect,
book
thank
and
you.
went, this is as far as I
This
know
is-
where
this is
we left
great.
off.
I appreciate it that you've done this up because this
Yeah,
is
I
what
think
we needed.
April, well, I have my minutes are April 16th, 2024, maybe it was there or May. May, it was like in May.
Mhm.
Something like that.
Yeah, so here's my,
Because this is
Notes on it.
kind of organized.
Right.
See, May, and this is the copy I made.
yeah,
Great,
Um,
great.
Or maybe not, I might not have used that one. Cause we've got, I don't know why, but here's. Internet policy. But regardless, if I didn't get you the latest, it's close.
Mhm.
It's at worst one off.
Yeah, April 2nd.
No, I think, yeah, I think this was it. We were just going to,
discuss it in May more.
she was gonna
Yeah,
type
it's just
up the
up to-
final draft and then,
Is that where you're at?
yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so then I can do that the next meeting.
Mhm. We can work on that. We can actually work on that on our next week meeting.
It's just a matter of
What's the meeting next week?
just, she wants to meet.
Perfect.
Next
I
Tuesday?
appreciate it.
Just,
Tuesday?
yeah,
Just you guys?
Mhm.
Just you two?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we don't have to.
no, you guys aren't required to attend.
No.
Wait a minute, why did? Some
That's-
comments.
Especially that back page. I'll remove that.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got, alright, yeah, so I've got, a version here that's got it to where I can read all that.
Do we ever get a checklist for planning to go inspection permit? Is there a checklist? Did that ever get created? Right here, I'm looking at the notes.
Oh, there were
That
some,
was talk, that was.
there were
discussed.
some that was working on, she didn't get all of the stuff done, I don't know.
So
all of
there's
them that
nothing
she
right
done
now
yet.
for,
I don't know, I have to check on that
I
specifically.
think there actually was gonna be something online.
yeah, because that's important, like when the contractors, that meeting with the
Yeah.
contractors and the city manager about
No, it's.
how to speed up the process.
We're supposed to, I just have, you have to understand that I am often only in my office about 25 hours out of the week. I am running around
Yep.
doing other stuff. So I'm one person down and therefore I'm covering all of that stuff that I would normally have them do, which is delaying everything. I'm months behind where I thought I
Oh,
would be.
no.
So this stuff's, that's, I've got this, I've got various other stuff that we're working on with regard to policies and procedures. And it's just, and part of it's just figuring out where everything is. It took forever to track down I still haven't found
Binder.
the binder from I've got
I
this
thought-
binder.
I was gonna say, I thought, okay.
I'm talking about the one that had like stuff written up about the,
Planning.
now. This is mostly people's. It's an update, why do I have this information?
That information is from the revolving loan.
No, I
fund.
know that, but there's no,
Notes?
it is not appropriate for that to be just sits in the binder.
Right, because that's for people's personal information.
I would give it to the city attorney maybe.
But that's what all of this fun stuff is, but anyway, so yeah, there's a huge amount of work that needs to be done in building and planning with regard to FAQs and various other things. So, it's stuff that we're working on.
Real quick is on the revolving loan, who's taking care of,
Yeah,
is the city attorney taking care of the payments? Cause they're obviously making those every
No, they
month.
come into my office
Oh, okay, so you're taking care of those ones.
as far as I know.
you're handling that,
I am not, my staff.
Oh, okay.
like as far as like, you mean repayment and.
Yeah, cause they're, I know they're
They
already
come in-
paid.
They come into
Yeah.
my office and they give me money,
Oh.
they do something with it.
Who audits that then? Who takes the money and audits it and deposits it?
It goes back into financial department,
So
doesn't
who
it? Back to
does
you,
that?
Finance.
Mm,
My staff
Okay.
takes the check, gives it to finance, and they do something with it.
Okay.
Okay.
deposit it.
I'm not a financier, it's not my.
Exactly.
I was
Not in your
just- I
job.
was
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
thought it would be somebody else,
Wondering
that's
what
why
the
I was
audit
thinking.
trail is.
I think we should do a
I have a
follow up.
lot of interesting questions
I do
about
too.
that whole program.
Exactly, well, no, I was,
You have a lot of questions on that program?
I was,
Jared, what's your
don't
questions on that program?
It just, it is what it is, and it's, again, it's another thing that it's something that I'm in.
Yeah.
Where I hear before,
Yeah.
would I have done this? I don't know. Because there's a lot of pieces that are, well, not all there. Just that,
it was-
like what you said,
well, it
you
was
know,
this money
where
that
is
was-
the money? I know where it came from.
Well, the thing is, the money's supposed to get recycled, so
Mhm.
They-
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
they
We need it
pay-
in a-
Plus the
they
people,
paid-
you know.
they pay that money back and then it
With
goes to the next
interest.
people, because
With
we had other
interest.
people that were
Yes.
interested in. What it's supposed to do is like,
Live
it was given to communities to help after COVID, cause a lot of the businesses, what we talked about, some were affected with COVID.
Absolutely.
For
And
example, you know, one of the ones that took the longest to get all sorted
the
out,
Taylor,
tailored footwear.
yeah, and
They
she
were
was
really
affected.
in terribly.
So like it's
affected.
businesses and it's development that we want to keep in the community, and we have the money available to help them out,
That's not what I have a question about.
and then we want to
Oh, yeah.
recycle the money to the next, to somebody else, we want to continue it on,
No,
so.
I understand. all
So
that.
you gotta make sure the money comes in according to the
But the-
terms.
There's various other questions that, again, not for now.
Yeah.
It is what it is, it's
Yeah.
in the past.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Whether,
Okay.
I was gonna,
whatever it will be, whatever it will be, we'll
Yeah.
see where it goes from there.
yeah,
Should we get a progress report, or who's gonna check out where they're at?
that's what I was just gonna ask. I was like, can we request like at least
Well,
the
here's-
organization of those funds, like to be in a set, so it's not just put into the whole big city pile, so it's in its separate
It's-
revolving loan fund.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna explain it.
Yeah.
There's questions of whether or not that was even something that can be done by the city.
Oh.
Because there are a lot of questions. For example, ARPA dollars be brought in and paid out,
Mhm.
okay? And you have a revolving fund
Mhm.
that you charge interest on. So we took the money, we gave it away, but then they gave us the money back. Whose money is that?
It's
And-
the other programs.
Well,
That you, none of us
Mhm.
are legal experts on that.
Mhm.
This question was asked and nobody's given us an answer.
Mhm.
Which indicates that nobody else asked that question or had an answer, or they don't want to delve into it or dig too much. The question is then, can we even, so I do not believe that the program will be continuing.
Mhm.
It will be, but it's also possible that the city will just have to pay it back.
Okay, the city's short on funds, so the city probably wants that money, but I think what's really important right now is that you go look at where that grant came in and a money source and where it came from and see what they said about it.
That's-
You continue on with it, okay, you're giving this money,
We're trying to be
And-
smart about it.
you gotta be smart about it,
To
and the
let it
city
live
can't
on.
just keep the money afterwards, that was never the intention, to give to the cities to keep. And,
Again, you guys are talking about something that is outside of my purview. And it is not my decision to make, and it is being handled by the folks that are looking into and are experts on finance and legal analysis, and they're making the determination as to what will and can be done with it.
okay, I wanna know right away, like how much money has been taken in? Like, there should be accounting by each project that was approved, and the money that came back in, and can we go ahead and reloan that back out?
That's what we're
That's what we
trying
have
to
to,
figure
the
out.
So-
finance people have to.
Who are the finance people?
well, that would
The
be
deputy city manager and
Deb Zabel.
Deb Zabel, and then.
So when are they gonna have an answer for that, cause that
Well, as
that
soon
should
as
just
we-
take a half a day to look into the
Well,
parameters of
is it-
receiving the money. And then what kind of counties, I'm an accountant and finance background here, and I'm just wondering, like, this is like a loophole that shouldn't be allowed here, like. That should be a tight, cut and dried program, the money comes in, it stays in the pool of money, doesn't get mixed in with everything else. Where you try to keep that money, go back to what the parameters were when we accepted the money and the program. And then, that needs to be followed to the T, so we don't get a black mark against our city,
Karen, I think that's what Derek's trying to say, that because of the previous administration that was involved, this is all done before him, and so they're looking into that, so we're trying to get answers
We,
so that we can know what answers to give.
Well, when will you get those answers?
That's what they're working on, that's beyond, that's not ours, they're
So-
working on it.
So if I'm
I can't tell
understanding
you
this
when.
correctly,
Yeah.
we misuse the funds?
pardon?
What?
You were told by the
No,
previous
no, no,
administration.
no.
That hasn't, nothing has
That
been
is,
determined yet.
they're trying to make sure that it can even be done, They have to look at all of that
The
because. it
collection of
shouldn't-
the money?
They
Ken?
don't,
No,
hold it, hold
the-
it.
the-
They do not have to look at everything. They look at the program. The
Correct.
program that came with the money, they just read the
Correct.
instructions and the parameters. This is not some big research project. Read the stipulations in the program.
Oh, I think, yeah, well, like you're saying, contact the funder,
The
whoever.
funder,
Yes,
exactly. It's
the
not like
whoever-
you have to research a Gaudi, whatever. I mean,
Yes.
find out the
And what
original
I-
intentions
what-
of the fund.
What I'm
Correct.
trying to tell you
Yes.
is those questions have been asked
Mhm.
of those entities,
Mm.
and we do not get an answer.
Which entities?
Well,
The grant.
The folks
grants.
that
Who were
grant
the folks?
ARPA, the federal government.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a federal government program.
It's an ARPA,
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
funds came
American-
from ARPA.
American,
So they
Rescue.
were passed through
Yes.
to the locals with very little strings attached.
Mhm.
The idea behind them and the intention behind it is that those funds would be given out, and at the end of 26, you would have no money.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
So
thing,
that's
but
why
now
the-
we have money,
The
So what's
revolving
the
loan
question?
creates a
that's the question.
dilemma.
And that's the question that people have been mulling
Mhm.
since we came across this,
Mhm.
but that we have not received an answer. And the answer is not from us. The answer is from these entities. And
And
staff
ARPA folks.
periodically reaches out to them and goes, hey,
Mhm.
Help us out here.
most likely, nothing. But we need clarification. And the biggest question is, what do we do when it's repaid?
Mhm.
Now we'll have $250,000
Mhm.
that was originally ARPA dollars.
Mhm. To go to the next round.
Yeah.
And,
That was our
that
intention.
makes sense and it's logical.
Yes.
And we're hoping
To help
that
our
that's the way it'll
businesses.
work.
Yes,
Mhm.
But we don't know
yes.
because that question should have been answered and known before the program was implemented.
And see, there's where I'm thinking that we did know at some point, it's just now trying to reinvent it
I would
because
have
we
a
don't
lawyer
have,
involved.
we don't have the
We
same.
do have-
Correct.
Yeah.
I would have the lawyer look at the parameters of that project.
It's,
But
So
that's
if
what's
it would-
being
if
done,
it
isn't
sounds
it?
like
Not
it might have-
in-house,
shouldn't have been
in-house, I mean, don't spin wheels in-house, get legal decision making on it.
they are.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's what Derek's saying is.
Yeah, cause if it's coming,
That is
it's not just,
happening.
it's not gone, it's just
And
still
what's best for the
available.
community, it's best for the community is to recirculate the money
Exactly.
back out.
Exactly, that was the whole intention.
And that was- and that was-
Everybody understands that and it makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The
But then
question-
why is the city hesitating about redoing that? Why are we hesitating about doing that?
Because just because we think it's a good idea, doesn't mean we're allowed to do it.
To recirculate the money back out?
Yeah, That's what he's
Because
saying.
the ARPA dollars were supposed to be expended.
period, gone. We weren't supposed to make
And we're
money
getting
on.
it back.
on
We
the
don't,
money.
What if
we're
we
not
get it
supposed to
back?
make
Yeah.
money
It's in a
on
different
on the
account.
ARPA dollars,
That's,
what I mean?
that's,
but they're.
That's what
they're paying us,
that's what
yeah.
put that.
So what's
Okay.
it, what's the program called?
I have Debbie.
Okay, what is the
Thank-
name of the
thank you,
program again,
Jackie.
please?
Thank you.
What? I'm gonna look at it.
Debbie's coming in.
What's the name of the program?
Which program?
The one that we're talking about?
ARPA.
ARPA or the
ARP, what does that stand for?
American Recovery Rescue
Come
and.
on in, Deb. You want to-
American Recovery and what? And Rescue? What is it? American Recovery and Rescue Act?
I think so.
I don't, no, it's not
I don't
like
know.
that.
No,
That's
we're
not-
missing the P.
Oh,
American.
Patriot.
Patriot.
American Recovery and Patriot?
Act, yeah. Now, they would like some answers about the revolving loan fund.
Okay.
We, we
And
started
what the
we
concerns-
gave out
Thank
money
you.
with the idea- here's basically pinpoint. We gave out, we had applications for businesses who were impacted by COVID. The money was set up as a revolving loan so that we could spread it out as far, this was our intention, with a 3%, I think that was the lowest of the interest rates. And they were set up on a schedule to pay all that
Right.
back. And now the question is, what do we do with the money? Because we're not supposed to have any ARPA money left over, is the question.
Right, so I'm going to go make some copies of this, so there's
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
thank you. I was gonna say, can, as far as commission members, we we need to follow up on the revolving loan fund recipients that have already, we need to follow, and I've been, but I feel like
Yeah, yeah,
everybody
yeah.
needs to
Yeah.
take their part and reach out. And we should have like a standard
Didn't we have-
checklist.
We had a. Like a list of who was gonna go out and do.
Oh, you're actually right,
And,
Lori and I are supposed to do stuff.
what was that? What was her name? The one that was out there? She was gonna email us the list of who was gonna do who.
Jamie Horner, was that?
No, it was,
Not Jackie.
no, was it her assistant? What was her name?
Marnie? Marley?
Marty. Was that her name?
Marty, yeah, she was,
Yes, so
she
I
was
need to,
assistant to the
we
city
need to go
manager.
back and see in our emails if she ever sent that out.
I don't
get
believe
that.
she did,
That was
yeah,
the,
I don't believe she did.
I'll double check.
Okay.
But it's also in the recordings. You just gotta go back and look at the recordings on who was assigned to
But
it.
here's-
We can-
Cause we
Yeah.
did, I do remember where,
Mhm.
And Derek, I don't really think you have to really spend time on this. I mean, the finance department needs to figure out
Yes,
what's
it's not
going
his
on,
job.
Derek.
It's
I don't
not
think
your
that's
job.
your job
no.
to.
What I didn't wanna
I
bring
know,
up.
because you have a lot going on.
I know, you know,
We need
I'm,
to, one, take care of them, it's.
pretty well
still-
versed in what you can
You know what I
get
mean,
up
see if
to
they're
ARPA,
okay.
and this was a.
It was, and I think this was all in good intentions, because,
Okay.
you know,
No,
we just
there's
added the
no-
loan, we just didn't wanna be giving the money away.
Yeah.
It was
You
what,
wanna
exactly
be-
what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have limited time
Yes.
that I will give you. And I'm not arguing, I'm
Yes.
just gonna tell you what I know.
Yeah.
I don't have all the answers, we may have to come back.
We-
Totally
but-
fine, but thank you.
We appreciate your time,
Yes. Just just for some background, and I don't know how many of you have been
Thank
watching
you.
the council meetings.
I gave my copies to.
Okay,
Karen.
so I have been here since the third week of September. I walked into a shit show, pardon my French.
No, you can say.
We are completely, our finances are in disarray. We're trying to put them back together again. The city's 2024 budget was put together using a $4 million sale of a property that never happened. There were expenditures relied upon that sale of that property that didn't happen. So any remaining ARPA money that was left on the books has been spent to make payroll. There is no more money to be given out for revolving loans. There was $250,000 budgeted, but 280 were given out, which is pretty much consistent with what's been going on with the budget.
Wait, there was 280 was distributed, but we only got 250 in.
No,
We only had
there was
250
250 budgeted,
So they went 30.
and they overspent it by 30,000.
So where is that supposed to come out of the general fund then?
Yes.
Wow.
Or how much was allocated to be spent?
We didn't go over it, did we, when we approved all those?
So
We're not,
I
Well,
have,
anyway.
I think they gave us too high of a budget, maybe?
so we also have the final rule that came from the federal government that does say that may funds be used to make loans or other extensions of credit to support an eligible use.
but we did.
Yes,
we
it
did
does
get-
say that. SLURF funds, which are the state, local, federal recovery funds, I can't remember what it is. May be used to make loans provided that the loan supports an activity that is an eligible use of the funds. So we have this ruling. I've already had a conversation with the auditor's office, which I can't get an answer from because nobody knows. These funds have to be spent by December 31st of 2025.
End of this
So-
year.
We loaned money out.
Yeah.
We loaned ARPA money out. Payments are coming back in. What kind of money are these payments? Is this ARPA money?
I thought it was gonna go back into like a
No.
small
Well, that's the
business.
point. The point is,
Yes.
We're
we
talking about
loaned
what's the
out
legal
ARPA money,
definition.
you're giving it back. Is this still ARPA money?
That's our question.
Or is it city money?
I think
Right.
it should be ARPA money,
It
because
should-
the
it should
city
be
makes
ARPA
the
money.
interest off of it, because the city gets to keep the interest,
So,
right?
but
But
if
we're not
that's the
supposed to
case,
profit off of our-
the city, that money has to be spent by December 31st.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't want ARPA funds.
So you,
So, but the other
This is
thing
a
is,
problem. I see the
right,
problem.
so then we have these I haven't even had a chance.
Oh, yeah.
I have a file folder with all these loans in it. Now, Derek's been here less time than I have been.
Yeah.
And he's trying to piecemeal and put things together. We both sit here and look at each other.
I bet.
Have you read the ARPA stuff yet? And we're like, no.
Yeah.
So we both know that there's a
We're
problem.
just trying.
It's a big fish to fry.
Pull things up, much
So-
less dig around.
So I don't know, this is I've looked at it, but
Yes,
there's
yes.
these loans, they have to be paid back in a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
Are they gonna be paid back by December 31st?
No,
No,
That's not.
no, some of them were like a couple years.
Yeah.
ones.
Right,
Most of them were like 3
Right.
or 1.
Yeah.
So-
What happens if you default? Can we really go after you?
Yes, because-
Because it's a grant.
They had
It was
personal
kinda loose.
guarantee, they had personal
Yeah.
guarantees, and some of them I know even put their commercial buildings on the
Some of them
spot.
did,
Yeah.
some of them didn't.
well, I mean, I don't, I mean,
Those are just.
I mean, that is,
Yeah.
to say that. I put my building up for collateral, would mean I'd have to go put a lien on your property.
Yeah,
Were liens put on people's property?
No,
I
no,
doubt it.
cause they haven't defaulted yet.
So,
no,
No, it
well,
has
you have to do a lien on it to
plan
get
it
it.
ahead of time.
to be done before.
It has to be
Yeah,
filed.
before you just,
Right.
technically before you just
Right.
disperse the funds.
And
Right.
the other thing is, this loan, if it were a lien, it is like so junior of a priority that if you were to have your house foreclosed on, we'd never get the money because we're way junior.
But at least if we'd at least done it. the way
Right,
we were
right,
doing
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the question that we have had, I mean, it does talk about for loans that mature or are forgiven on or before December 31st of 2026. You know, it talks about this, but we haven't even had a chance to go through and read this, and so we don't even know.
Who,
Do we need to just write this off as these are now just grants?
That's
And
what we're trying to. figure
We're not sure of that. We do have, there is for loans with maturities longer than December 31st, 2026.
out. If we get grant them, do we have to give back the money that's already been paid? This, that, these, there's just a bunch of. It's not a simple
Yeah.
surface.
Is there any way that that money that's coming in does not go back into the ARPA fund, it goes into the city fund?
Well, it
let's
wouldn't be
say?
our decision, that would be the federal government's decision.
Right, that's the thing.
Okay, well, I feel better talking to you because
this
you
is
have,
great.
you know what you're doing, so
Yeah, no,
you're
that
getting
was-
the answers, and that's all we wonder is like,
Yes.
is the money being paid back? Are we getting
That's what I
collected?
told
Do we
you.
have a new?
So I did, you have
I heard
this,
that.
Yeah.
so we do have, so we start out here, it says there's this beginning balance of 460,000, so I'm assuming. That council said, we want to put $460,330 or $33 to ARPA loans, I don't know, I haven't read that yet. But, so we've received $15,000 in abatement fees.
That's us not.
So
That's
what that
different.
means, that's different.
That's different.
So that means that people that we've gone and done an abatement on their property, they had to pay us back for that, that's what that money's for. And then, so here we have, under the 360, we have revolving loan payments, interest, we've received 5,135. And in payments, we've received 36,715. I don't even know, I don't know who has
Yeah,
loans
yeah.
yet, if everyone's current.
I would say they don't have like an individual file that as soon as they make a payment. How much they have left remaining, stuff like that.
No, it just goes into this one fund.
You
I mean,
you have a list, can you get a listing of the exact checks written from the city to
I'm sure there's
these
copies.
entities, and then we know how much was given to.
Oh, I mean, no, I can get that, I
Yeah.
can get that, I just didn't
How
print
much
a
is paid
report out.
back against
Oh,
that,
right.
oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
something that once we get our budget figured out, this
Yeah.
is what we're gonna be working on, is trying to get this
Started
resolved.
Okay, it's just
Yeah.
kind
I know
of.
the beginning of the year is absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, okay, so we
Now
don't
we're
even have our
doing-
bank reconciled.
Okay, so no,
June
so even there.
2024, so that's our bank.
Okay, so bottom line is, you know, go do what you have to do,
Right.
it's more important.
But I did, so we have spent money,
I can see your.
and we've spent money just probably on abatement stuff, so Derek and I, you don't know us from anything.
We're not trying to.
We are
you guys
asking you to
out.
trust us,
No,
because we
absolutely.
are here to do, we came here to take on our roles, knowing what we were getting into.
Well, you did know though.
Well, not.
Really, because it's what we do.
They tricked you guys.
No, we didn't trick you, but we knew there was an issue.
We both have a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
I kind of got
municipal
tricked, but.
First page, they didn't give you the whole book.
No, I came from Tappanews, and then I worked for YB and then I worked on the west side I've been in local government for.
Oh, well,
30 years.
We're good show.
So, yeah, and we-
They handle these kind of issues.
Yeah, we know what we know, we know what you don't know, and what we don't know, we rely on each other.
And when we don't know, we'll ask.
Yes,
As
yeah.
opposed to,
Exactly.
when we dig and we will not answer the question until we know.
What Debbie has done is, and what Derek said is what Debbie has just echoed
Correct.
to, so we know for
Oh, this
sure
was good.
what's what
Right.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And we know we're not gonna get a report right away because there are some things that are more outstanding that we're trying to take care of. But that doesn't negate the fact that we will be getting those answers to
Right.
the questions
And
that we're asking.
We did just get our federal audit, which the ARPA funds were part of that. Which the auditor's office is fine on how we spent the money.
That's good.
But we do know we have to figure out what do we do with this money? Do we need to just dissolve the loan and turn it into a grant? Does that take council action? How does that work? And
So those
You
are
have a lot of
questions.
issues.
And,
Yeah, okay.
well, it's, a lot of it has also to do with the response times of the people you're asking the questions to.
Like the grant people?
Just, I mean, they'll get around to it 3 months from now, no big deal for them.
And there's
Meanwhile,
our
we're,
timeline.
we're like all freaking out.
Crunch, yeah. Yeah.
Because we have a
That's-
December 31.
Each level higher up in the government you go, the longer it seems to take.
Well, hopefully that'll get fixed.
Unless you're in
Check out.
trouble.
Thank you,
Thank
Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
And thanks for coming to Sunnyside.
Unless you're in trouble, then they show up real fast.
Yeah, that's right. That might all change with the new administration coming to the federal government.
God only knows what's gonna happen. And that's why, you know,
Don't hold your breath.
we're just
Oh, I
gonna
didn't- I didn't
focus
really
on.
get
It still works at its own pace.
Not
It's
with-
glacier.
The power of prayer.
Not yes, I'm gonna say this,
Amen.
yeah, with business people running the government, I feel better than politicians.
Well, no,
I have
understand.
hopes.
But
I
but
believe-
I'm just saying the bureaucracy has its own
Yes.
glacial
I know, it's terrible. I mean,
way of doing things,
frustrating.
and it is
It's
slow.
just like I called social security for something and I had to be, they said your wait time's 100 minutes. And I'm thinking, why?
100
Yeah,
minutes?
I'm thinking, oh wait, I pay your money. I'm a taxpayer and I'm gonna wait 100 minutes.
Look at it.
Oh, God.
What?
Look at it.
Insurance, you pay insurance, and then anytime you actually need it,
Terrible.
they do everything in their power to deny
Well,
it,
maybe
and
now-
regardless of
Well,
this.
and that depends on what
Auto,
insurance.
No, I mean, this is, it's frustrating,
Okay,
the
so-
inefficiency, you know? Okay.
Okay, so our actual first order of business, we've skipped over it completely.
Yeah,
Review and
Wait,
update is
Patty,
needed
no,
of
we have
goals,
to get
visions for the commission. But we did get,
Well, we
I think in a way,
No, yeah.
I'm just thinking a way, getting that update on the revolving was
Yeah,
really
just-
important. That discussion was really important. to us.
So I think maybe we
So-
should hold off on anything with the revolving loan fund until we
We're not,
Yeah,
I was,
we can't do it.
I'm not
Nothing.
keen on us doing anything with it until we get
Yeah.
those final answers, because we have to be
We
able to
don't have to do
articulate to the participants exactly how the program.
Yeah, so we'll
works.
just.
Now, if everything works fine, and everything, nothing needs to be changed, then we carry on, we don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
But if there's a change up or something like that, then we'll need to communicate that, but we'll have to have the solid answers.
Right.
Um,
Let's get some solid
So
answers
that's,
before we
so
reach
that's
out.
really, thank you for, I'm happy to have reviewed that because I had been asking Zabel too, what's going on with that, so she had given me kind of a heads up on it, and I was,
She spent the last 3 months, 4 months,
in September.
just trying, she was kicking out final budgets at 5:08 for a 6 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
The one we.
No, she- I mean,
And,
She walked into a problem in today, so and she's trying to fix it, but I just wish I was at the city council meeting where they approved the $4 million sale of Munson property into the budget. I'd like to have sat in on that meeting. As an accountant, I'd like to have been there for that one.
That's true.
You know, how is that? Were you in
so-
city council then, Julia?
That particular budget was not a budget that I was I accepted it, I just accepted it afterwards. I mean, it was accepted in 23, December 23, going forward, and that's how it goes, like to 25.
Yeah, but who
going-
was on that was the city council that approved it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passed.
But it's in the past. and
But I'm
it-
just saying, that's a pretty big deal.
It is a big
Yeah,
deal,
it is.
it is a big deal, and it is a deal right now that we are reconstructing and trying to figure out how to work with.
Well, cause they
So
said
we
our
are
whole
moving,
city,
we are moving forward with it. This, the budget for 25 is very tight, I will say that, to make up what we.
Now, we're
make
looking
up,
for alternative sources
All kinds of
of
things.
things.
yeah.
A lot of what's been going on also for the city with regard to funding is we've been absent. And what I mean by that is, you know, there's entities, there's groups, there's all these things, there's organizations and agencies. Like we found out, you know, for the homeless coalition, Sunnyside has not been there for years. And the reason is because our representation was what YVCOG, and then YVCOG got, I guess,
They-
so rumor has it, gotten upset because originally they were the ones that got all the homeless dollars, and this other group came up and now, so they don't show up. And so the city hasn't been having representation. Now, Mike's been working on that, these things, that's a whole, you know,
yeah,
YVCOG has to be willing to either allow us to sit in that role or give up that position on the table. And this, somebody had said earlier, bureaucracy works at its own pace. That's the stuff that we're dealing with, is this, just the systems that are in place, and then the fact that for whatever reason, Sunnyside just wasn't real active, constantly going out for CDBG grants, talking to Olympia.
We weren't
seeing
doing
what's
that.
up. We were not doing that. And it's not uncommon, a lot of small jurisdictions fall into this trap, but, and we're bringing that stuff back. You know, it's 2025 is going to be a year of change. 2024, the last quarter of it was us just going, uh-oh, and stopping the train, getting it on the right track. Now we're starting to hit the gas again, but we're on a different track now. And it's just, there's a lot that needs to be done. That's why this group, and that's the second, it's not why I put it on there, but it's the second item. Regards, and it sounds like you guys are kind of doing it already loosely, but I would like to potentially, or at least discuss the idea of making, because each person is located wherever they're located in the community, or they're in the particular business type demographic that they're in, you know, these types of things, and we might want to start looking at creating those types of, you know, like, I don't know.
Subcommittee or.
Yeah, you know, like who here has a business right smack downtown? Okay.
And her.
Well,
No,
see,
I'm more-
your place is, to me, is on the edge.
Oh,
To me,
yeah.
downtown is that.
Oh,
just-
oh, that's what he-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just where everything is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
chilling.
Yeah.
There is no space, you know, maybe they become the downtown liaison because they're down. You're like the Edison Street or, and specialize in these types of businesses and acting.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow, and then we act like that, maybe not so many ribbon cuttings, or maybe we do ribbon cutting, but that's facilitated by the person that, you know, oh, I own a bar and grill, so, you know, those people.
Yeah.
Because everybody in their business has their own lingo, styles,
Niche.
concerns, interests,
Yeah.
and sometimes they'll conflict. You know, what's good for maybe a youth business oriented business may not be good for a bar. You know, or vice versa. You know, Starbucks is coming, there's gonna be an initial hit on all
Our
the
little
coffee
Star
stores.
shops.
Now, you're
and
gonna,
Safeway.
you're gonna have your poor people that do it just because, you know, they'll keep going because they're either friends of the owners or they're anti-corporate. And they'll keep, you know, but there'll be this initial rush and everybody will find out why.
Why you like your little ones.
What I like about Starbucks is one thing, it's kind of like going to the Catholic Church. No matter where you are in the world,
It's the same.
It's the same.
It's just like.
It may be a different language, but I can just whip out mine and be looking at it and I know where it is. Starbucks is the same way.
Now,
Country.
what's breaking ground behind Popeyes? Has that been announced yet?
The housing?
I don't
I
know.
would have to.
There's a business, okay.
There's.
Oh, that's the eye clinic, I think it's Bobbit.
Behind
I
Popeyes?
think it's,
He's been coming to Sunnyside?
I think,
Something's
cause I
coming.
think Bobbit owns that property, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, if there's any work going on, it better have a permit.
Yeah, and
Or we're
spread-
gonna have a problem.
What's next to Grandview by the Walmart, that all those buildings going up next to the Walmart.
The truck
distribution
stop.
Oh,
The
that's
truck
a truck
stop.
stop.
It's a new truck stop.
A new truck stop.
There's a truck stop
Mhm.
and then I'm a leasing agent for a whole new strip mall. Tolman is putting in a commercial strip mall.
Yep.
In Grandview too.
On that same area?
Yeah.
Along the Yakima Valley Highway?
They're moving toward-
In
Little-
between Grandview and Sunnyside, right?
Yeah,
On that side.
Right next to the DC,
Yes.
that's gonna be a huge development.
that's gonna be cool.
So we need more
Huge.
stuff like that here.
It's not good for us.
Oh, good
Yeah.
for us.
It's fine.
Twenty twenty-five
Well, the thing
is our vision to put it in place for 2026. How about that?
Exactly. Well, the thing is.
Oh, I have a few
Being-
things indoors.
We
Put
need
it
to work on a
place.
vision board.
What?
We need to work on a vision board for this committee.
Starbucks is cool because people come and meet there, hopefully, go in, sit
No,
down.
It's right next door to me.
And it's a beautiful, it's a classic, hey, let's
It's
meet
not,
up,
and
let's
it's
meet up.
not like, I mean, it's not,
It's like
it's not gonna be like a restaurant. It's not gonna be-
Yeah, I'll go there to work too.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
well, that remote.
Yeah,
That's
instead of
what I-
going to instead of going to Grandview,
No.
you're,
Yeah.
So the coffee shops are gonna hit it, have a dip
Yeah,
eventually,
you know,
but
kinda.
it'll plan out. It's just
Mhm.
usually about first 90 days of a new
Yeah.
thing coming in, everybody, their
Yeah.
uncle wants to go in and check it out.
and see, they've all changed their strategy, because like I talked to them a long time ago to come in, I talked to them coming in by next to the State Farm building, and they wanted to tear down the State Farm building. Put in there, and they said, oh no, we're gonna go back, we're gonna only do it close to the freeways, we have.
Yeah, that's their,
Yeah.
So now they change, they keep changing,
Well, that's because they oversaturated.
yeah,
Yes.
and so.
yes.
I don't have an agenda item, active, okay. Graciela said she has to leave here soon, she has an hour, so.
Okay,
Okay.
They still.
let's see, what do we
Okay,
have?
I think like in summary here for me, I think like the city is spending funds to implement a lot of things we want to do. So I think, I think maybe our committee should be more active to look at how we're gonna get money to do things, like you wanna put bicycle paths. I'm just throwing this out.
That's on
like,
there, that.
I mean,
that's
there's
on
probably a lot of
different back
grants and
pages.
things, but I don't know who at the city has time to look at for those. Do we need to help do that?
Well, I think that's where item B is gonna come into play is their subbing out committees.
Because like I'm just saying that we might have to, as a committee, get more active
Absolutely.
into doing something,
Mhm.
because the city doesn't have
That's-
staff.
And that is what our goal is,
Mhm.
because we also have another task that we're gonna probably throw out towards this group. Trying to develop a chamber of commerce,
Mhm.
something that resembles a chamber of commerce, and we've talked about it. But that would be an example of one of the subcommittees that would be something we could actually do and have a result from. As far as
What is
like
the reason for the Chamber of Commerce? What was the number one reason?
working for
A
business
network.
education
Uh-huh.
and
And
network
promotion.
and promotion.
To do promotions and to take over jobs like the parade or to take over more work or?
No,
Not necessarily,
not
no, that's a whole
necessarily.
nother little
No.
discussion.
'Cause they used to do
I
that.
get
But it is a
So,
different discussion.
Getting the groups that are putting on events, I need to get them all in one
We need to
place,
be
and I need
networked
to
better.
talk,
There's,
And we need to get things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we're too spread out
Centralized.
right now.
Well, I
We
think
need
that's what a
centralized.
chamber would be good for, because we could
chamber,
reach
yeah.
out and then they could do our promoting for us too, so it's like,
Mhm.
I do
Well, they're-
like 5
they're a
events a
piece.
year and I could.
The city provides so
Yes.
much in
Mhm.
resources that it's, frankly, it can't occur without the city. So the city has to be integrated into the process.
Mhm.
And kind of in some of the events, what's been going on is it's more like They just tell us it's happening and expect us to
pony.
schedule staff and resources on 48 hours notice. Those stuff, now, again, not all of them, I'm just saying that has happened, and it needs, so what we need to do is become a little bit more formalized in the process. We just need to get it, so everybody's on the same page, and we're trying to take nothing over, it's just figuring out roles and responsibilities and understanding that the city may not be able to give services for free. That the events are gonna have to pay for it, things like that, which is a little
Go out and
bit
get
new.
sponsorships like
So
that's.
So
It
with
stands on its own.
the subcommittees, do you have a list that you're trying to go over with us? Or are we gonna create one?
You got, okay, first. Do you guys want me to take what I've got? Go ahead and type those up and bring them back next week or next month.
And we have, so
Or
yeah,
on A.
As far
you're
as
creating, you're creating the guidelines for this committee to work with, or what we want for the city, and
Where
we're
do-
within that,
No.
is that what?
We have
typing up
that.
this, the final draft.
Yeah, we already have we already have.
The draft.
So,
We finished it.
You're just
We're now
cleaning this
just-
up.
But what do you call that?
Perfect.
This
The
here
goals.
is our goals, strategies and actions.
So he's just
That's what
gonna,
it says.
so he's just gonna type that up, and that's what we work for, from,
Yeah.
to further work.
Yeah, this is our
You're
blueprint
exactly
right here.
right.
You're-
Right.
we're-
Get it into a format, we'll call it a draft,
Okay, so then, okay, so you're gonna get that done, then
because
what,
this is the worksheet.
Yes.
okay, so then the next thing is. You guys want a chamber of commerce, but then, and we want subcommittees. Is this all falling in the same area here, or is it chamber of I mean, do we have the
No, that's
subcommittees
just-
come from the chamber?
Well,
What's the overlap? And then you have this group where you have the 200 members, the sisters, or what's that called?
from Empowering Sisters?
Yeah, they're doing a lot too, and so I'm thinking,
why do we
You
need
know-
a chamber?
yeah.
I think the more the merrier.
No,
I think the more
yeah.
the
So what
merrier,
do you- what do you-
because
you're
they
thinking-
can work
what do
together,
you
'cause
feel
one
like
group is not gonna attack.
What do you feel like the city needs the most here? What do we need to do to help our city right now?
Business wise, for local business?
Yeah, since we have limited resources, what can we do to help our city
We need to
carry out
work
our goals? Carry out
closer with
this
them.
committee
Yeah.
goals.
And recruiting
Do
new,
what?
working with current ones, giving them resources and recruiting new
Mhm.
ones.
Okay.
That's what I'm
coming
doing
together.
daily.
Do you want the chamber then? Do you think the
I
chamber
think
would
chamber would be
help?
great, because I have people from Tri-Cities that want to invest in Sunnyside, and we look like a shit show because we don't have a
We don't have
chamber.
So we need the
We don't have the
chamber.
resources, sorry, excuse me.
So what do you think, Jerry?
That's,
I think we need a chamber and a Main Street.
This is,
Yeah.
so, a
Mhm.
chamber has cachet, but a chamber, and whether it does benefit or anything to your community, is purely up to the locals and how that chamber operates. And I have seen too many of them turn into piss and match power wars.
That's what happened. here.
Where people sit there, so. When a chamber's working, the chamber's great,
exactly.
Mhm.
when a chamber's not, it's absolute hell and nightmare. And your jurisdiction's reputation, so it's a double-edged sword.
Does the chamber, do you connect like to national organization with the chamber?
That's
think
what
that
you get,
helps.
that's one of the big things you get, the chamber, you also have lobbying. They have amazing resources, they are generally, there's something when. The chamber says, people go,
Mhm.
whether or
So
not they
it
agree.
strengthens our position to
It
get things
can,
That's
done.
why
It's like a
it's just-
vehicle to get work
But
done.
my concern is, I've already seen how I mean, we have 3 rotaries.
3?
No,
Two.
two.
I was like,
I don't know
where
why
does the third one come from?
It's because one of them has 2 different
Yeah.
names people refer to it
I was like,
as, it
whoa.
confuses me.
We have the early morning people and you have the people. at
Yeah, you
night.
have day and noon, and I think day and noon are actually the same.
Mhm.
But the
And-
people in the
and-
morning
and-
don't wanna meet at noon, and the noon people don't wanna get up early to meet at 7.
No, I'm,
So it's
They
always.
started off with the farmers, they can't, they have to do in the mornings,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
That's
the
what it
point
is.
being is the, so a chamber's good because it
Yes.
does bring resources.
Yes.
But again, it's only gonna be good as the people that make it up,
Mm-hmm.
and special interests cannot be the primary driver of a chamber.
Mm-hmm.
The chamber must be completely focused on the entirety
I agree.
You know, and
I
what'll
think-
happen is
yeah.
sometimes they'll be like, you know, like the realtors are in charge, right? Because the realtors in that
Everybody's
group
in charge.
got hold of the power, and then everything starts focusing on
Yeah.
development and this and that and these and those, and then your existing businesses, nobody's talking to them, or it's all about recruitment. What about retention and expansion?
Exactly.
And it needs to, and the reality is the chamber shouldn't be really focused on recruitment.
Mhm.
The chamber needs to focus on recruitment or retention and expansion
Mhm.
and the group, because the members are paying in. Those resources will be spent locally, not trying to bring in somebody else from the outside. That's the port, that's my job, that's other entities, or this commission's job, you know, those types of things. It's not what the chamber's supposed to do, but too many chambers lose focus of it.
I think there's a lot of eager community members that.
Well, we
can
seen
help
that at
with
the
that.
last.
Well, okay, so like, I know like for Rotary,
Yeah.
okay, I know like for Rotary, they used to try to get people representing different factions of business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you had the chamber, you'd maybe have like one or two realtors, insurance. You know, you try to get a
For the board.
cross section or the board. And it was a hornet's nest way back here, way back in the day when there was a chamber. It was a hornet's nest because the wrong people had the power and misappropriated money. And everybody said, don't join it, it's just crazy, and they had some of the best people in our community on that. And they were so disillusioned that they all left, and so it was left with people that shouldn't have been on there. So like, I think the most important thing is like whatever parameters and nationally they give you to fill that board is what
Well,
make it successful. You know, you can't just have
it's-
random people on there.
That's exactly one, that's especially on the board.
You
And then,
can't have like all realtors or,
and,
you
and,
know,
Exactly, make it fair, yeah.
and in time, in theory, what happens is your chamber has been educating and training the businesses, you know, on how to do things, so that initial strong board can start revolving out as other people come in and gain the chops. But what happens often is that, well, I wanna get this policy, well, okay, but if you get me on the board, I'll get you that policy. You know, and that's what starts happening.
Yeah.
And it's just, those are things you have to watch out for, and they have to be kiboshed
Okay, well-
when it arises. But no, a chamber, like I said, it's got its benefits, it's just,
Yeah.
it can be a double-edged sword,
And
but
then-
that's frankly any organization.
and then didn't we have a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce too? Wasn't there two, I think, or something?
The comment
was.
is, I don't,
They said it at
Not
the last
here.
meeting,
no, there, maybe, did they say there's one here?
that one
There was.
big meeting that we went to
Yeah.
at the fire
I
department.
thought they were
I'm pretty
just saying that they existed, I didn't
sure-
realize.
Maybe that's what it was.
I've never heard.
Because
I don't
Pasco,
think you should do that. I think you should have
And-
one group with full
Pasco had
representation.
a Hispanic, and that might have been where it came up too, Gonzalez might have mentioned the
mean-
fact that Pasco had a Hispanic.
I don't think we're big enough to have that.
No,
I'm not a big fan of, I understand, that
Understand that.
different cultures have different approaches and things like that, but maybe they are great, but what they're doing is, one, keeping that to themselves
Correct.
and not letting anybody else learn from it.
Exactly.
And they're also not learning from all the other potential options that are out there.
I think it should be open to all.
They should be,
Yeah,
and
I
in this
think-
community, considering our population, and everything else, it just should be a diverse
Absolutely.
group.
'Cause-
And enough of us are bilingual, I'm not, but, that shouldn't be an
Yeah, I think
issue.
would be good.
And we
Yeah.
really need to encourage the folks that
Of all
don't
ethnicities.
feel represented to participate in these groups.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things, segging into the subcommittee stuff. Those are the types of things we can do, maybe that's,
Well,
I'm
okay, so
getting a
can we-
feel that it's from this group, it's more helpful if I bring examples than just general.
well, I was like,
broad
instead of
based.
talking about
I
it,
think so.
and then we see there's a need, I like to just start getting
Do
it
it.
going. I wanna get going and not talk about it, so what do we need to do to get it started? Do we need to contact the national organization and find out the rules and guidelines and go
For
from there?
chamber.
Oh, you're
I mean,
talking about
it's
the
a-
chamber?
Yeah, if you guys want the chamber, and then you're talking about subcommittees, within, or what else, on item.
Subcommittees
Item
with, yeah, but that's within the commission is what.
This
Right,
is-
what,
yeah.
like, what is example of a subcommittee that?
Like,
needs
for
to be from
example,
the
you,
commission?
you're a rancher, you're a developer, you have
Whatever.
all these different things, right? You have wear
Yeah.
multiple hats.
Ag.
Ag, maybe if some dude or something, like that's kind of, you talk to those folks, you know their language, you know what's going on.
I was in banking though, so I can do any business.
And again, I'm just bringing it, you asked for an example.
Yeah, I know,
That
I'm
kind of
just
thing.
saying, don't.
And then-
She used to be press, so
Uh-huh.
maybe she should be our
Yeah.
rep for the,
Yeah,
I'm-
you'd
and
be great,
nothing
Julia is great. on
Yeah.
that specific,
Right.
again, maybe, what's her, somebody said,
Leticia from downtown?
Leticia,
Yeah.
maybe she's the person everybody goes
I
to.
mean, there's
that's
some
in
great
that
talent.
Downtown block to go,
Yeah.
I've got this issue or I wanna help.
Right.
So dividing
Yeah.
it, sort of what I'm hearing is sort of like we could divide it into like districts almost because of where
Potentially.
Like
potentially we
Yeah.
could do that. And-
People with experience, and then I wanna talk to some people I know that were involved before about what not to do and what went wrong, cause
Are you talking the chamber
For
again?
chamber.
I know that, yeah, for the chamber too,
But what I think, when we're talking about the commission here, we're talking
The
about.
the sub roles within the
sub-roles within the
commission.
commission.
Just this group.
For
Okay.
And
next-
one of the sub.
I'll bring in some maps, some ideas.
Well, I just wanna know what the role of these subcommittees are versus having the chamber, and then Mike
We
has.
have two separate-
because
And Mike has his forums going on, so.
The CED commission
Is
is an
completely separate.
entity that is an entity of the city of Sunnyside. The chamber is an entity that is an entity of
Nonprofit.
the businesses.
Okay,
Then
Completely
Mike's forum,
yeah,
that is,
Community engagement.
it's community engagement. It is,
Yes.
we are just sitting up there.
Yeah, exactly.
And now
It's
if
good
if
to have that.
something came up like last month. And we said we would look into it, got nothing like that, we're supposed to, but
Yeah,
or
for example, the
then we would
vandalism
bring that, yeah,
that's
and
been
then
going on
updates, like,
recently.
we'll look at
There's
that.
gonna be a lot of vandalism that has been going on downtown, all the businesses, they're getting broken into.
My code enforcement officers,
not
anti
into that.
graffiti
Well,
trailer
the business.
With-
Yeah, it's all right.
thingy,
Um,
the blaster and all that. Got broke into this weekend. and they
What
stole-
did?
And they stole
What got hit?
Basically,
What got broke into?
our anti-graffiti van and our trailer.
Oh
And
my
basically,
gosh.
right now, we don't have the ability to do graffiti abatement because they stole the primary pieces of equipment. to
Oh
do it.
my god.
Don't worry, my boys are on it.
Oh my
Because-
god.
And
That is
eventually someone's gonna squat.
Wow.
That's just the way it works out there. Now, whether or not, the equipment will be recoverable is a different question,
This
but,
is what we need.
it's.
Okay. Alright, so you want some subcommittees, like what's an example of subcommittee then?
Oh, and I don't mean that specifically, that's just a list of
Just ideas.
basically, like, do you think we need to have subcommittees? Do you think we need to,
It's a good idea.
and I think really maybe those come up as an event or subject comes up.
Yeah, I think it could be as needed. I don't think we should just spin our gears on it. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, we're involved in all kinds of stuff. I mean, you got properties all over. You know what I mean? Just because you work in ag and you're on the outskirts, but you also have property in town too.
Yeah.
We're kind of all over the place.
Oh, yeah,
I,
Okay, so,
yeah, case
alright,
by case basis.
Case by case
If there's something
those
that's
will
needed, we'll
probably
reach out
be
to.
more work focused, I would say,
Mhm.
like, say there's some, like. You three are in charge of
Yeah.
finding all we
Yes.
need to know about the chamber and bring it back to the.
Exactly,
what
exactly.
subcommittee maybe should be youth and family, what are we doing in that department? Cause that was, we discussed it over and over and over and doing our goals and
Oh,
mission.
yeah, that's in there.
I'm like, now I'm really worried about the pool being closed, is the pool being closed for sure?
Hope not.
In the budget, what
I
happened,
can't-
Julia,
I
in the
can't-
budget?
I can't really
Can't
say for
disclose?
sure that
Well,
anything
what
more
did you
than,
vote on in the,
the budget,
Right now, it's not in the.
it's
budget.
not in the budget. The pool is not in the budget.
We're scrambling.
We're
see if we
scrambling to
can
see-
See what we can do between now and when it opens, normally, to see. if we
You
can
know, it's
find
open
funding.
it's open from June till about the middle of August. So basically two and a half
School
months.
But you said, and this is part of it too, you know, we just brainstorm, you said youth and.
And family.
Family.
Because we wanted to improve our community and like, since the city has a shortfall, then obviously they're not gonna have money to put towards those endeavors, and I don't know where we're at with soccer programs or everything else. I mean, like, right now, we
We've
need
actually
to
got
address what the
potential there.
shortfall, we need to address what the shortfall is in our community because of the budget problems. And see if this committee can do something,
Yeah.
Well,
you know, like right
we're
now,
doing
and we
it.
can't.
go
I
back
don't
to
think
your
we can
goal.
really wait right now, like wait for the pool, if there's gonna be money for the pool, because I think the pool is really important to Sunnyside, have youth have something to do.
Well.
And it was
I-
important for my kids and
Yeah.
like,
The community center, senior center too,
The city center is still open.
that one's still.
That's still.
but the pool doesn't have any money, so like, you know,
The-
like.
The money that we have set aside for the pool is for the insurance right now
Right.
and the maintenance of it. We don't have enough money
We
right
don't have
now
to operate.
to operate as in salaries for
Yeah.
lifeguards
What
and
if we put like a volunteer program for lifeguards, like for kids to work for free? Sorry if we don't have the money, but we could still.
they
the
can still get
valuable
life,
training.
they can still get life
Yeah.
experience trainings,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know that you can do that. If that kind of volunteering, I don't know if that's something that working for the city as a volunteer, there are still some strings attached to how that goes about.
And that it's the certification.
It's certification,
I mean,
the
these
people who wanna be,
their lives, they
yeah,
have lives on there.
Oh,
in
for
their
sure.
hands,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
so it's
Absolutely.
generally.
yeah, so it's a big, it's a bigger deal than just getting a tan all summer,
Exactly.
You know.
Oh, no, totally.
you know,
They have to
so,
be certified and all that stuff.
They have to be.
But
awarded.
it's things that are being
How
looked
you
at.
cook.
We are,
Costs, that's the thing.
every time we have a budget hearing or a budget meeting, we are looking at how we can do that. Now, there's a group out there who just started setting up, a recycling. I don't know how often they're gonna do it. They did it the Sunday between New Year's and Christmas. And they raised some money, but nowhere close to what, I think it's $350,000 is, what we need to operate the pool.
Where is that budget, where is that budget? Like,
It's online.
so you could look at what all the expenses are for the pool last year and what is needed? You go online to find that?
I think you could go online to find it, yeah, so it should be
Wait,
online.
what?
But you said,
Yes,
all-
what was
yes, but
expended?
no.
Well, like if you want to say, okay, if I wanted to say right now, I'd like to see how much money was spent last year to run that pool.
That, yeah.
And I wanna know
Okay.
how much money you have right now. I don't wanna go online, try to fish it out. If I wanted to get that information and then I wanted to go see if we have some other spending first, it's like, you know, I wanna see what Yakima Rotary did when they built that new facility.
Partner,
Aqua
they
Center.
partner.
I wanna look for, I think we need to look for some other monies available outside the city.
Exactly
And like
right.
some grants, I mean, we're an economically depressed area as far as, if you look at demographics and what kind of opportunities that we can get. For
We
our
partner with the
kids,
Y.
you know,
The Y, the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah,
Those are
and
all.
so,
those-
but like,
those
we need to
conversations
get going on that now, so
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know right now how I can find out how much it costs to run that pool. I mean, can we dig that
It's
out somewhere?
$450 roughly.
But how much money is the
$450
city gonna
for the
donate
city.
this year?
So I'm saying, it costs $450,000.
But how much, how much is the city gonna put into that this year?
That we would have to, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's in the adopted 2025 budget.
And I
And
don't
it's
have
for
the
the
copy with me,
insurance
right,
and
so.
it's for the
Maintenance,
maintenance of the
so
facility,
insurance.
not for staffing or operations.
Insurance and maintenance?
Yeah, basically to make sure the thing doesn't go backwards.
And we have looked at some grants, we've looked at some possibilities and some of the things that you just mentioned, Karen, those are things that are being looked into.
Yep.
But it doesn't hurt to have another set of eyes on those. The best person to probably talk to is I get an appointment with the city manager and ask him to explain it to you. I could, but I
Well,
would
I'm just
probably say
saying.
it, I would probably say it wrong. But I would suggest that he has those numbers. Debbie does too, but
Like I
she's
said,
super busy.
like I said,
But
it's.
there's not. There's no magic bullet out there. It's gonna take.
Well, but you're talking about it, but nothing's gonna get done. I mean, we don't have very many months to get this done. to open the pool in June, you know, you gotta kinda, if you're gonna hire people and do something, this has to be done right away, and then also like, what about, what happened with Parks and Recs and having soccer and D-ball?
There was last
Are
year.
we, is that still, can we still do all
I
that?
hope so.
So,
Yeah.
Some of
So-
them.
Because it makes
Some of
money
them.
too, because I mean, there was a wait list. There should be money,
Well,
because there was a wait
You
list
would
last
think.
you
year.
would think
the
so.
pool, you know how much the pool made last year?
How much?
$80,000. You know how
And that
much the
is-
pool spent last year? $458,000.
That is.
It's, and you gotta think that the only way that we get money from the public
Yeah.
is through whatever the swim team things are,
Rentals.
those, the rentals.
Mm-hmm.
Rentals are probably more money than the number of kids who come down to the pool because we don't charge them an arm and a leg to swim in the
You should.
pool.
What about teaching
Exactly.
swimming lessons? I mean, that should be, every
They
city
used-
should
they
be able
We
to
used to have
provide
those
swimming
as
lessons for
well,
kids, you
We
know?
used to do
City has been very generous to its residents.
as regarding the swimming pool.
Unfortunately, it's part of the problem we're in now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
We practically give away the pool,
Well, okay,
the use of the
I don't
pool.
live in the city, but like they just increased the rates, and they haven't increased rates for how many years?
Utilities?
I was shocked, what?
I think it was 3 was the last time I did it.
They just
Increased the
raised the
utility.
utility rates in the city and they hadn't been done for 3 years, but yet we have this huge amount of inflation and cost of living and employment, labor
Here's-
costs, and the city should have maybe raised
Here's a couple
the
of things.
utilities. I
Couple of
mean,
things.
that's crazy.
Absolutely, I'm in your boat right there. I absolutely agree with you. However, you also have to understand that we also have to do something in regards to what the people tell us what they want. And they have said that they want the pool. We are making a concerted effort to figure out how to get that pool open at least part of the summer. How that's gonna look, don't know yet. But I know that $700 a weekend in recycled cardboard is not gonna make it. But that is one of the efforts that's out there to help bring money in
And
for the
yes,
pools.
this group, they're, you know,
We can
one of
come
the
up with
businesses-
ideas.
yeah, I sit and I often watch, and you sit there and you go, you start doing a run of math, if everybody will just get $5. You know, these types of things. Now granted, $5 for me is quite different than $5 for
It's a
somebody
coffee
else.
for some people.
But the point is,
Yeah.
if everybody contributes, then things don't hurt as much. Unfortunately, that's just not how humans seem to operate. So other people end up picking up the
Mhm.
slack,
Mhm.
and those slackers benefit from that, and then that starts creating a culture too. That said, you know, there's nothing that campaigns, things like that, this group could, if that's what this group really wants to focus on. I'm not aware of anything right now
Doesn't say we can't.
that would prohibit us. It makes perfect sense. It ties perfectly into what I
What
understand
our
our
goals
role
are.
is, which is, you know,
The family-
business often, you know, looks at dollars and cents and stuff like that, but also your future workforce, your future community, everything like that starts at these other levels. So the reality is community economic development is this big, it's a holistic thing. It's not a piece, it's everything. The roads affect everything. So that makes us into public works, police and fire. You know, again, that affects, so this group, this CED is kind of in everything or affected or impacted by everything. So if this group wants to do that, I think that's, I think they would
it's-
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out. Also, I'm worried about the T-ball and soccer
Yes.
programs and like as far as
soccer, there's.
as
a
far as
park, there's
finding a
like-
way to finance it, I think there are a lot of options we can look at, but
Karen, that
just to say,
subcommittee is really important.
who's looking right now?
That's
Who's
why
looking?
That subcommittee is a great recommendation.
Who is looking right now to find
At what?
find
We
what
have-
it means to support all these programs? Like Julia said, you're looking, who's looking?
There's
No, no,
there's
we're
a
beyond,
Parks and Rec
we are
Commission.
beyond looking.
There's another commission,
Are they
just
looking?
like us, but they're a Parks and Rec
Okay.
commission.
No, not anymore.
This is, okay,
Everything's getting-
Hold on.
if y'all wait a second, I'll answer the question.
Let's let Derek tell us what he knows.
Get asked the question, I have to have an opportunity to respond, folks.
Gotta get you a gavel.
We have actually, and we are working with, the YB cog. Might be what we
Yes.
call it.
Who is Whitey Cog?
It's a
No.
quasi governmental agency. No, they're a government agency. They provide regional planning and other services. In Spokane, they were, they had a different name, COGS down here.
Is it
It's
federal or
Council of
state?
Government. It's
Government.
state and local, I guess is the way you'd say it. It's not federal.
Here's what the
Their
acronym, here, let me
transportation.
explain the acronym, first of all, YVCOG.
Okay.
It's Yakima Valley Conference of Governments.
Oh,
So that means every city, county commissioners,
Oh, it's Yakima Valley.
legislatures, that's for the YVCOG, that's just from Grandview
Mhm,
to Natchez.
It's just Yakima Valley,
It's just Yakima Valley.
mhm,
but it's where all those. They
All
do the
those-
transportation,
Yeah,
so.
they have
So you have
transportation.
federal transportation dollars. The
Mhm.
federal transportation dollars are granted to the states. The states then distribute it to the localities.
mhm.
YVCOG is what they call the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And TPO, because one's a state designation, one's a federal designation, or something like that. In other words, so this is the house, but YVCOG does more than just transportation. They have phenomenal planning services, they do a lot, this is a very robust cog. Whereas Ben Franklin, BFCOG, not so much. That said, they just like a few years ago got new staff and they're changing everything. But over there, it's pretty much transportation, population allocation for transportation analysis, that's all they do.
Wow, learn something new.
So then YVCOG, or anyways, back to the soccer.
Mhm,
We are finalizing what we need to do in order to start getting the 20-year master plan. For initially, it was like a soccer plan, a soccer master plan. Then they went, give us more. We want more, increase your scope. So we're like, okay. So we're now looking at, we may be getting funding through that for soccer and other stuff. That's not today, but see, these are things that needed to be done. We don't have a strong foundation or funding foundations or organized foundations associated with our stuff a lot of times. It's like, so part of what we're doing is we're trying to get that foundation groundwork laid. Once we get it going, it'll take, it always takes a little bit longer to get that initial foundation, but once it's in the ground, stuff just starts going fast. And it's just getting, because those fundamentals just were not done.
Yeah.
I try to always focus on today and going forward, because if I start talking about the things that I've seen here, it's not nice, and I can't change it except for to change it.
Yeah.
And to just sit there and bash somebody that's not here to defend themselves or articulate their rationale, because that's the other thing.
Just, it's like we had any leadership going on in this community.
I see things where I'm like, I don't know how you made that decision. But it is what it is, and
It is what it is. Can I
And-
just say?
and they had influences at that time that were informing that decision that I don't have. So that's another reason I'm very hesitant to speak about the whys or whats of what was going on in the past.
The other thing too is even as a counselor, and you're giving mountains of material all the time, and you have to review it and you have to look at it, and you think you're getting the proper materials. Because you're depending on your staff to be integrity driven, community driven, and not lazy. And I'm not, those things were factors. We were working from information we were given. From people we trusted to give us the right information. And if you don't have the right information given to you, what decision can you make except what's in front of you?
But I think the council needs to be responsible for the people that they hired. You hired managers that were incompetent and the finance
You
people
don't-
that were incompetent.
But you don't.
And you
know that.
approved
don't
a
know that.
$4 million money to put in, you put in the budget without a confirmed sale. I mean, I'm just saying, that's like, I just am in shock.
I
that
am
that
as
was
well,
allowed to
I
happen.
wasn't as well.
And I didn't go to city council meetings, I'm just saying, there needs to be some accountability here about who made these decisions, and I feel sorry for the people that like Derek and the new people we have, and thank goodness our new city manager was smart enough and capable enough to bring in new talent in here. I don't know where a city would be right now, and it's frustrating that it wasn't run like a business, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And there's,
We'll do our best. to
We're
run
gonna-
like
I'm
this.
just saying, Derek, I'm for you guys, you know? And like, and here we are,
Well,
we,
we'll always
you know, we can
remember.
sit and go over all these goals and everything, yeah, this is, and what we're gonna do, but
We
gotta do it. We have a lot of work to do here, and as far as the subcommittee, I think the subcommittee could be good as a vehicle to go after some future funding here and get some things done that the city
Project
can't do.
specific. Targeted.
I think yeah, cause we need to help the city right now, or
Yeah.
we need to help our community right now
Yeah.
in the shortfall.
But just
area.
always remember this couple things, okay? You guys run your businesses, you have lives. CED, it's not your job to save the city. In other words, what I mean by that is, this is an advisory group and an action group. The city, they have their responsibility to do it, and I guess all I'm trying to say is not, I don't want you thinking that,
Mhm.
you know, it's all on you guys to fix this stuff, it's not. But you guys are going to be a part of it. The biggest part is do what you wanna do when it comes to this type of stuff. I mean, there's nothing that says,
You can't do.
you know, you're selling something or you're doing something and you're like, and just solicit, I don't know, for the pool, you know, I mean.
Honestly, and with that said, I was just gonna ask, like, would it hurt if someone, I could even do it?
But I share
reach
your
out?
frustration, Karen, because you sit there and you look and you're like, and we're in the middle of it, and ever since when I had my heart attack at 49, that will get you to really reassess things. And what's important, and at least for me, and where I need to be focusing my energy. And I've gotten to where I just can't, I've got to focus on what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, I'm chomping at the bit to
Yeah.
get things moving. And I'm spending all my time in
Yeah.
meetings.
Yeah,
You know, cause I don't have
And like
anybody
you can
doing
see
it.
now the mentality of that city council, trying, the new people, and they're trying to get, you know, get instant results because they've seen the shortfalls and the poor decisions. And
Right, but if it takes 10 years to create the problem, it's gonna take at least 2 to fix it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I mean, don't be sticking up for the city manager who could be here right now, or the finance, or all the people in the past, because they never did their jobs.
Yeah.
and you know, that's where you feel the betrayal.
And that's, yeah, it's
Well,
section council.
But you were elected, Julia,
No,
to
no.
represent people, to make good decisions, and if you didn't like the
I
information,
understand.
you have the right to
Ah,
question
but
it.
you don't know until you know.
And that's,
the
and
biggest
this is
problem.
another thing, why is the city has annual audits as a municipality? Why haven't they catching anything? I mean,
Because again, there's.
the auditors that the city has to
There was
have.
an internal audit.
It's the city, the
They said
state.
it, right? Wasn't that when
the-
they
We
had?
had state auditors.
The
come in.
Yeah, why did they point out things, the state auditors?
The state auditors, when they come in, first of all, it's not free,
Right.
$50,000.
costs $50,000.
And you're
for it.
paying for them to tell you what?
It depends on the year, so sometimes they'll be looking at federal dollars, expenditures. Other years, it'll be maybe federal and roads or policies and procedures.
Oh, so they don't look at
They don't do
everything.
your
Oh,
entire books,
okay.
they only do certain subjects each year, like
Okay.
2 or 3 usually.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, I
that
didn't
said,
know that.
and then you can kind of tell by the way they talk that they may see things. But it don't cross the threshold, so they don't say it. Because if they do, you start getting into some weird legal things and defamation, or you're painting a picture that's not true, we fixed this or whatever. And then also, it's extremely rare for there not to be a justification. Again, I don't think there's any quote silver bullet. I could be wrong. I haven't thought through I mean, Debbie would know more than me. But I think there were a lot of bad decisions made. And lack of understanding of what you could and could not do, or what the ripple effects are, the cause and effect of actions. I don't think were really well understood because the folks didn't have the experience. Like, I've been doing this for 18 years. Debbie's been doing it, actually, I'm 19 years now, and that's not counting my time actually working in construction and being a lobbyist for the home builders and the realtors. You know, it's, I've been doing this, and so I've watched this weird evolution that's occurred in my field. But I have this broad, you know, I've been to law school, I've been to, I've had a lot of training and education. That's not the case. I mean, the former leadership here, they did not have degrees in municipal government. They did not, it's not to say they couldn't do the jobs necessarily, but as things got more and more weird, and more complex, and more requirements coming down from the west side, and the feds actually haven't been doing too much that way, but man, the west side has. You know, and just it becomes more complicated, and this isn't, you know, it's not a justification. That's why when Debbie said something about knowing things, and I go, we asked, well, we ain't gonna give you an answer until we know. That's the difference. They would. They would feel, this is my guess. I've been asked a question, I'm supposed to know the answer, so they just give an answer. And it was mostly right. But it's the little things on the edges.
Working with government, it's different.
The revolving loans. You guys, I could tell by your reactions that certain elements that she and I have been brought up didn't even enter into your thought processes. And it's a beautiful idea, and our hope is that it will play out just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I'm also one of these guys. I'm one of these guys that will point out the worst case possibility. And the reason for that is if you're not willing to go that far, then you may not want to play, because you never know when the worst case is going to pop up. And, you know, because the last thing you want to do is be well invested in something and then find out that, and then now you've wasted all the energy and resources you put into it. It's best to know, if you can't handle the worst, don't go here. So people get trippy with me at the counter, because I'm not used to that from planners. I lay it all out there and go, look, man, you gotta look out for this and this and this and this and this and this. Can you handle that? Well, what's that gonna go? Well, about $175,000. Well, then don't even waste your time and money. If you can't pay that 175 to bring in that primary asset that you need in order to make it a success, don't. A lot of them ignore me. And guess what? But, you know, because they know best, even though they've never developed a drop of dirt in their life. So,
Okay, so,
anyways,
okay, so this is off the subject, but you know, going back to this ARPA, the American Rescue Plan, no, this is from last year. This is all the notes that we got and we worked on. It says any interest accrues the program guidelines. Any interest accrued will be used to establish additional services and grant programs throughout the city of Sunnyside. So technically, you could use that interest, which would be, if everybody paid back their loans in a year, it'd be like, you know, it could be $12,000. I can't remember the rate. But anyway, the bottom line is you could use that money like help the swimming pool.
right.
Or to help a youth program,
We
you
don't
know?
know if we have to give that money back.
No, it says any
No, no.
interest accrued.
That's,
But that's
That's our rule.
interpretation, that's our
I'm not
interpretation
sure,
of it.
it's just.
That's what I was,
What
what Debbie was
Yeah.
reading was the thing. I gotta get going.
Okay, have a good one.
Thank you.
so much for
I
being
can
Um,
say, I don't think you have to get the interest back.
yeah,
Because there again, we don't know, that's why she
It's-
said.
we gotta get answers
Who
first.
is it? Yeah.
We-
can't do anything.
We don't know what that interest, what does that become? Is that
Yeah.
our money, their money, or ARPA money?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like, we should,
Yeah,
no, but anyway, the bottom line is you can't, you gotta get something done on the swimming
Yeah.
pool and the youth program. for
with the
summer.
swimming pool, I did have one more thing, since I'm a member of the Y in Yakima, which they partnered with Rotary, I'm on the
Yeah,
Rotary in Sunnyside,
Yeah.
I could reach out to them and be like,
yeah, I
hey,
think you should
we
just
need help, we're
find out,
desperate.
find out information. See
Yeah.
what we could do right away.
Absolutely.
Another one
I
is
like
the
another thing
Boys
is-
and Girls Club.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
already reached out to them.
What's going on with Boys and Girls Club, cause I'll help with that.
Yeah, so the CEO in Tri-Cities, I've been doing classes with them for their youth for like wellness and stuff and nutrition. And I go there and they actually have brought their kids over here to my facility, you know, just to like as a field trip. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool and all, but I want to help our local kids.
So you want to create one here?
Yeah,
That'll
so we
help,
also
but I mean,
just
like,
built one, but we do need
to
to.
away that, I don't know if you don't care, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we gotta have
I think
little
we
community input.
did a lot with this in Seattle area.
We-
I would call him just to get some more.
I've worked with both of these.
That and they're great, but I feel like maybe.
But what we need to do, and all I'm saying
Number
is,
one.
Rotary, if we want this.
Yeah.
It needs to be full court press, all service organizations should be asked to participate.
Absolutely,
And then, and both of them
yes.
should be
For what,
targeted,
for the
the
what?
YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah,
Both of them have the ability to operate these types of facilities, and both of them have the opportunity to provide other services that have nothing to do with those services.
Yeah, even after school programs, like
That's
the after one.
whatever I can do to help the
Yeah.
kids here, okay.
We have a facility, we don't have staff, community center.
Yeah,
What that does too is it opens up more diverse, I'm sorry, the kids need more to do than just swim.
Oh,
the other thing is.
Because not all kids
No,
swim.
the other thing that you could do is train some of these high school kids to be mentors to these
Yeah.
kids in these
Exactly.
That's what
programs.
they do in.
Yeah.
They need it on their resume to get in
And-
college
and
right now.
these
I mean,
guys-
they need
And
resume,
they're
resume.
pros
things, you know,
on
and-
those programs.
Yeah.
And we have facilities.
I'll reach out.
See, a lot of times they're coming in and they're needing to build the facilities, and that's what takes a lot of time and capital and all this other stuff. We've got the pool,
Mhm.
we've got the rec center. Those
Okay,
can
well-
be, if they can, so yeah, get
We have
those
something to
and
offer.
let's get a formal meeting set up with them as soon as possible.
So maybe we'll add that to future agenda items, is follow up with Brittany on the Boys and Girls Club and
And the-
contacting the Y.
Mhm.
And then
Like the pool and
the
the
pool
youth services,
and,
that are gonna be shorts.
youth and family is how we
Youth and
wanna
family,
focus on.
yeah.
And we all agree that that's something that
Already
the
one of our
Development
goals
Commission
and-
wants to.
Yeah.
That's very pressing, so it's
Very
like.
And if if you did,
Yeah.
if you did create a chamber, you could go after the business side, that would take the pressure off of this group having to.
Absolutely, we
Do
can
the
do all.
business side when we're
We can do it
trying to help this,
You're in Rotary, right?
my husband is,
Okay, are you in any service organization?
Seroptimus.
Okay,
Mhm.
you?
She has one, Spring Power Sisters, and then Rotary.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I mean,
But they're all posted.
That is really cool.
if we're gonna go that, I would say start
service.
now.
Yeah.
And just start talking
Mhm.
and just say, we're trying to get the YMCA, we're trying to get.
Because I
We
actually,
wanna, and then find out from them,
Yeah.
well,
What do
what
we
does
need
it
to do?
take?
I have
What
some
do we need
ideas
to
too,
show
I have
you?
some ideas what you could do to get fundraising, to do some of these projects too, you know,
Yeah.
like. How many pickleball courts do we have in Sunnyside too?
Not enough
I don't
apparently.
think so, I don't think we have.
They use the community center.
Yeah, they do,
Gym.
yeah.
They use
That's
the
the
tennis
only-
courts.
We don't have any pickleball courts?
We don't have designated,
No, they,
Pickleball.
no.
but we all know that those are coming.
Oh, absolutely.
Because apparently every time we sit down to talk about anything, it's pickleball courts.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'm
you were
just
in
saying,
that meeting.
well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, there's some great fundraiser opportunities
Yeah.
if you had pickleball courts and tournaments and to get people coming to the thing, they're all looking for places to go and they're all.
Absolutely.
So that's
That's
interesting, so, did you a pickleballer?
I'm a tennis player, but
That's right, that's
my-
what it was. It was-
my aunt-
You're a tennis
my aunt is
player.
5 years older than me. She is like a national champion. I mean, she was a tennis player
Oh.
at college level and phenomenal golf, and she goes all around playing pickleball. I mean, it's like a big deal. And like I said, these women that I know, and some are in the community, and they weren't athletic types, like I've always been athletic. They weren't real athletic, and they were playing pickleball, and I go,
They love
wow.
it. It keeps
Well,
people
that's
active.
impressive, and you're finally learning some sport in
And
your
it-
sixties, and so I'm thinking, like women here, there's a whole bunch of women here that wanna play pickleball all the time. And like, I know people that are teaching, and the Hoptown women,
Mhm.
they teach and they go all over to tournaments, the owners.
Awesome. I love that.
And I'm just saying, there's this whole world out there that Sunnyside has the weather,
What do you guys think of the
and
jump
you
track?
could do that,
Pump track?
The pump track, yeah.
Yeah.
What's,
So that's our.
pump track really
It's a
is.
BMX track, that the group that, I'm a part of, whether your husband's a part of, that we're behind on that.
I don't even know
project.
what a pump track is. so
Well,
what is it?
that's the primary, we got two issues with it. One,
What is it?
the information.
For
and-
bikes, scooters.
You don't pedal,
Why is it called pump?
because you
Cause you
don't pedal.
pump, you use momentum.
You go like
Momentum.
this.
Oh.
The layout of the track
And it's a track.
allows you to do
Yeah.
this.
It might be kind of fun, I mean, for everyone.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's wheelchair
Now,
friendly, it's
this
scooter
is-
friendly.
However,
All ages.
However,
All of it.
here's the question that nobody's been able to answer.
Mhm.
Who's maintaining and who's operating the facility?
Just like the skate park, cause we built the skate park, exact same thing, we're repeating the process. We
I
paid
don't know
for
what
it.
that means, I didn't.
There's
wasn't
no,
sure.
you
You
feel
take care of
mad.
The city does, the city takes care of it,
We can't,
why? You guys already take care of the skate park?
because the resources involved are significantly different.
How are they different?
Well,
It's
because
made of the same material. It is, pretty much you just mow around it. No gravel.
Okay.
No gravel, it's no.
Okay, why do people living in Sunnyside never have any increase their utility tax or increase that? I mean, like, our property tax go up every single year, I'm in the county, why
that's the county.
why is the city taking in more money if so they can provide more services to their community
Watch the council
members?
meeting when that was brought up,
Really quick,
I was called flippant.
how fast that
I was
turned
called
on
flippant
folks.
when I suggested,
Only.
just randomly suggested, well, we are going to have an increase in the utility. rates.
3 years, you don't have an increase in 3 years.
Whatever, we're having one. I suggested, and this was from the suggestion of the finance department, that we could do a utility rate hike just for the
Dedicated.
pool.
Yep.
And the outcry of people saying no way echoed for half an hour.
Oh, by the way, those same people were just spending the first half hour telling
they
us
want-
why we
And
need.
why we
safety.
needed a pool.
Okay, wait,
They don't wanna pay
Okay.
for it. They want it, they don't wanna pay for it.
this is basic economics.
Yeah.
I
You
understand
don't, you
that.
don't raise the utility, the cost of utilities that the city provides for 3 years. So all the increases that the utilities are charging and the labor and everything associated with that, the city's been eating it.
What did I say earlier? The main reason that we're in not the main, but one of the big reasons we're in the situation we're in right now is because the city has been too kind to its residents.
Cause they're too poor to pay. That's
Isn't that too poor to
always,
pay?
That's the claim.
that's the
That's-
claim
that's-
in
that's-
every single meeting, anytime you talk about a utility increase. Trust me, we know the council knows we need increases, but we're split on how to do it.
Well, why should it's voted in?
Well,
Because they're split.
cause we're
You
split.
got one camp that
Doesn't want it and
philosophy,
So does,
another camp that says.
Well, no one wants to increase the taxes or utilities, but I mean, it's basic, if the.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And it's
The big way-
logical too.
the way-
Okay, really quick, guys, we're running out of time. Any items from committee members that we need to discuss? Okay, items from staff
That's
members.
why we need some of those.
Yeah.
And we have that.
All right. Next meeting is scheduled for
I'll schedule a meeting with you with Jason. So we can be on the same page.
It's not in my hands per se, it's,
Well, just so you can
the
get up to
question
speed
is,
on it.
well, this is the thing, is when it was presented to council.
Yeah.
And they said yes.
Next
we're
meeting is
in a
February
completely
4th.
Financial situation that we are today,
You guys are not paying anything.
yes, we are.
Okay, you guys can discuss that after the meeting.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
Thank
Item
you.
agenda.
Next meeting is
We're supposed to come up with $100,000 somewhere.
next meeting is scheduled for February 4th at noon.
Okay.
And meeting adjourned at 1:50. Thank you, everyone.
Woo, thank you for
I
doing
was
that.
just thinking like, you know, if,
That's interesting.
I would like to see Mike so successful in turning our city around and
We will.
establishing more of that.
What happened?
We could have a statue for him in our city, you know, cause he's gonna get with the thing from here. I'm just saying, we need
No, it's
so much
a
help,
it's not just one
you know?
person. It's